Gun-grabbing politicians and anti-gun legislators think that they can force people into an anti-gun state of mind, but it may be backfiring. We've seen the anti-gun propaganda for decades, the fear campaigns, the demonization of gun owners, and the gaslighting about how being unarmed and helpless is supposed to keep people safer. Well, the anti-gun crowd will not stop when it comes to trying to convince society that guns are the cause of violence and gun owners are recklessly and intentionally putting everyone in danger because we won't give up our Second Amendment rights. But that's only one side of the coin. There's also a constant push to force legislation onto the public with the intent of making gun ownership impossible in America. Now, this two-pronged approach has always been the strategy of the anti-gun crowd, with the hopes of creating a defenseless and unarmed population of voters or subjects. The idea is to shape the minds of the next generation to despise firearms and demonize those who choose the Constitution over unarmed helplessness. Well, it seems currently there are more constitutionalists than you might think. Is it because we understand that firearms are the one tool that can keep us and our families safe, and we refuse to allow communist-minded government employees to put us in danger? Or is it just pure American defiance? Well, maybe a bit of both. Almost half of all American households have a gun owner in the residence, and this is just our best guess. According to research, a 2023 Pew Research Center study found that 32% of U.S. adults own a gun. A Gallup poll from the time between 2019 and 2024 indicates that 44% of U.S. adults reside in a household with at least one gun. A report by ammo.com revealed 46% of American households, approximately 65.19 million, contain at least one firearm. And between 400 million and 500 million firearms are in existence. The truth is, gun ownership in America is likely much higher due to the fact that revealing such information to strangers in a survey is not high on the priority list of many gun owners. The largest surge in gun purchases occurred between 2020 and 2023, with over 1 million NICS background checks for purchases each month for 57 consecutive months. Ironically, this was during and shortly after the violent left-wing riots of 2020. It's obvious that a big driving force in gun ownership is for the purpose of creating a barrier between us and violent criminals. With crime rates rising, left-wing governors bending the law to keep criminals on the streets, and activist judges abusing the legal system, it's a no-brainer that we should always have a gun to protect ourselves and our families. Several studies have proven that guns in the hands of good people result in up to 2.5 million defensive gun uses per year in America alone. Now that's 2.5 million violent crimes that likely would have happened had the victim been unarmed. Using a gun to save lives has been proven valid time and time again. But isn't it ironic that while we watch gun ownership increase and defensive gun uses go up, anti-gun governments implement more gun restrictions on the good guys while letting more criminals out of jail on early release and bail reform policies? It almost looks like they're intentionally trying to create instability while weakening those who would likely oppose tyranny. But that couldn't be true. People understand what's happening, and they've decided that they won't put themselves, their families, or their freedom at risk any longer, regardless of the latest political talking points or reckless media spin. This is why gun ownership is on the rise. But what about those folks who simply say, I won't be told what to do? I won't let a board of town council members or state legislators tell me what rights they will allow me to have. Who do these people think they are, and when did they get to decide what's best for me? You see, there's something unique and special about that rugged American defiance. It was injected into the bloodstream and the culture back in 1776. We needed our founders to defy the king and remind him that we simply will not be told what to do. And some people wonder why we say America's the greatest place on earth, because we're the only kid on the block who stood up to the bully. Take a look around. In what other countries do the people rule their government? And just to put things into perspective, for every 100 people in America, there are about 120 guns. We are a constitutional republic, a free nation. For every 100 people in Canada, there are only about 35 guns. Canada is a constitutional monarchy, but their Charter of Rights doesn't give the people leverage. And for every 100 people in China, there are about 4 guns. China is a one-party communist dictatorship. In America, we've been taught to uphold 2 very important values: the value of human life and the value of defiance in the face of tyranny. Our founding fathers had the same values. That's why they wrote the Second Amendment. Thanks for watching Bullet Points. I'm Dan Wass for Gun Owners Foundation. You can find more Second Amendment content and updates at gunowners.com.